What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we are going to be here in Forza Horizon 4 again today. A few reasons for that. I do like to do videos in other games, it's not that, but this game's one you can just kind of really have fun with and play around more, and it's just not so grindy as a lot of racing games are, especially because it's open world. And I'm not feeling the greatest today, but I've also been wanting to kind of do a new series where I just kind of take a car, build it up to where I would like it to be at, as far as something I would actually want to drive in real life. Then take it out and just run it around the back roads, just do some canyon carving and see what my thoughts are on the car and see how I actually like it. Because I have a majority of the cars that you can get in the game, and a lot of them I've never even touched. So this gives me a way to get some more content out there, plus it lets me finally put to use all these cars that have just been sort of sitting around and I've literally never even been in. So in today's video, we're going to start off the series with the 2012 Porsche 911 GT3 RS 4.0. It's a really sick car. I've never got to drive it in game. Like I said, most of these I've never even taken out whatsoever, or even actually looked over them really after getting them. So I'm going to jump in, kind of just see what all we can do to it. I kind of figured there wouldn't really be much aero. If we could just get adjustability on the factory rear wing and the factory front splitter on this, because it already is like a track package, it'd be perfect. We don't need the crappy Forza aero. And I don't think I want to turbo this car. I want to keep it NA. I really like that feeling and the crispness of the throttle response in NA cars. Do want to go ahead and switch out our rims here. I got a few ideas of what I think I might run on it. So I think I'm going to stick with these HREs. They look pretty good on it. I really like the spoke design and how deep the center is on these. It gives it a nice aggressive look. Go ahead and do track width upgrades on this. Surprisingly, is not a very aggressive poke on this car at all. Actually kind of just brings it out right to the lip. Definitely going to be upgrading tire width because I want this to be a pretty nice and grippy car, because I am going to be doing like canyon carving, stuff like that with it. I might take it into a race towards the end of the video. Already on race tires, kind of figured that considering this is a GT3. Just jump in here real quick, do all the drivetrain upgrades. Actually on transmission, I think I'll do sport so I can adjust the final drive. That way I don't lose all that acceleration. There's a good chance I won't really need to mess with the gearing too much since I'm not really changing a lot around. Really slams it down on drift suspension. Definitely not going to put it on there, just wanted to see what it looked like. We'll toss the cage in it. Not sure. That's not too crazy. I didn't want it to be too light because the Porsches tend to get real sloppy once you get them so light. The rear end just washes out really easy because they are rear engine. So with what this car is rated at, probably going to end up with all the engine upgrades on it here too, just to get a nice little punch out of it. I don't want it to be too insane, but definitely do want a car that's real aggressive. So it looks like we're going to be like 700 horsepower. Wow, dead on 700. Straight called that. Before we do actually jump out and drive this thing around, I will give you guys just a quick overview of the cars if you haven't had a chance to look over it, or if you by chance don't actually have this car. One of my favorite things is the interior on this thing. It's really nicely done. Really carries over the like accents of the exterior of the car and just looks really nice and finished and like it was really thought out. Like most Porsches in the back, there's not a lot to see. It does have some nice little carbon fiber accents there on the air intake, and overall it does look a little better than some of the Porsches. So I'm stuck with yellow calipers. Really not sure why it comes like that out of the factory when the car comes in either white or black with red and gray accents. Very strange. Try to hurry and get away from the festival here so I don't have to worry about copyright because of the music you cannot shut off at the festival. I didn't do any tuning to the car yet. I didn't even mess with tire pressures. I just kind of want to see how it drives and get a feel for what it might need. very, very snappy car. You can really tell this is a really high horsepower, naturally aspirated build, and definitely isn't turbo. As soon as you get in the throttle, it just starts taking off. Whoa, I was not ready for that car. I thought they were still ghosted out. I was just kind of off in my own little world for a second. The low-end acceleration in this thing is just mind-blowing. That's ridiculous, watching the speedometer between corners. For being a rear-wheel drive car, from what I can tell so far too, this thing is really, really grippy. Sorry about that little gear grind. I had to pause and adjust my headphones real quick so I could actually hear what the car is doing to be able to drive it real properly. Ooh, almost overran that corner. So I wasn't really sure about doing a Porsche for this video, because it basically is already Porsche month in the game. We're going to be getting a lot of new cars, and I didn't want it to seem kind of cliche or like I was just following a theme. I just have a lot of Porsches I have not drove, and I really like the way these cars feel for this style of driving. They have just a really nice balance, but you got to really pay attention to what you're doing with the car in corners, or the rear will wash out on you and just snap around. It really was down to this or Lamborghini, and I have drove a lot of Lamborghinis in the game, so I figured I'd wait. Oh, we're going into them. So I figured I'd wait to do any Lamborghini videos, start knocking some of these Porsches I have out in my garage, and actually get a chance to drive them and experience them here in Horizon. A lot of them I've drove in other games, but everything feels a little different and more crisp here in Horizon. The physics are obviously a little over-exaggerated at times, and sometimes just a little weird. But for this type of thing where you just want to build a car and take it out and just like smash some back roads with it and really push yourself and the car to its limits, Horizon's really tough to beat. Oh, way too hard. Managed to avoid almost everything there somehow, though. I got distracted looking at the gauge cluster in this thing. It's really clean, but it's got a really sick look to it. I really like the accents. That's one big problem I have here in Horizon, is I get distracted by too much of the stuff going on in the car and around me, and just like really checking everything out. Just visually, there's so much in this game to enjoy. Oh, that thing sounds real nasty right around that RPM range there. You can really hear the throttle blade start to crack open, and it really starts pulling in some air. Car just appeared and changed colors. And that car is kind of popcorning back and forth. Looks like there's a few people out here on the highway. Here lately, I've been seeing a lot of comments on other YouTubers that do Forza videos talking about how the game's getting kind of boring and running out of stuff to do. Which for me just seems kind of crazy with the amount of cars and the amount of stuff there is in this game to do. It does get a little boring sometimes, which is why you gotta find new ways to entertain yourself in the game, but there's very little holding you back or limiting you on ways to be able to actually go out and experience something new in the game. Especially if you have a wheel. If you have a wheel, it makes this game so much more interesting to play and just makes all the cars more interesting to drive too. They all feel so much different and respond so much differently on a wheel. It's really insane. There's not really any cars that feel exactly alike. This thing is an absolute beast once you get it topped out. It just hugs the road so well. Like I said, this is still no tuning. But yeah, speaking of like different things to do in this game to really like get a new experience and have fun again and kind of make the game feel new to you again, one thing I really enjoy doing, and I recommend this if you have a wheel with an H pattern shifter, is try to drive a hypercar with an H pattern and drive it well. It is one of the hardest things I have tried in this game because you're constantly up and down gears. Excuse me, I just drank like an entire Rockstar and I'm starting to get a little bubbly from it. But it's just super challenging because you're always just rowing through gears and you have to be very precise about gear changes and get it at the right time, or else the car is going to start acting just insane on you and wanting to pitch itself around, and it's very hard to get those cars back under control at high speed. I just tried to downshift from 7 to 6 and only have 6 gears. And you gotta love just blasting through the tunnels with something like a Porsche with a flat 6 in it, or a Lambo with the V12. It just sounds so nice. Old muscle car big blocks sound great through there too. Whoa. I think that was a Noble that came flying through there. He had some major air coming over that hill. Let's do some little back road canyon carving runs here again. Not really canyon carving, but they are some nice hilly roads. Which that's another thing about, or that I really enjoy about doing this type of thing, just building cars, going out, cruising them, and really just kind of pushing them and abusing them in ways you could never really do in real life unless you were just insanely rich and didn't really care whether you died or not. Is we get this really beautiful world to do it in, and it's not flat like a lot of games are, or a lot of tracks seem to feel in most games. It's really got a lot of elevation change to it. The roads have different textures to them. Like certain stretches, especially out here towards the beach along the stretch of the coast that goes over to Fortune Island, there's a lot of really nasty sections in this road that get really bumpy and pitch the car around. So you got to kind of learn the road and the way the car reacts to bumps. Wow, that just spawned out of nowhere. But you gotta really like learn to predict where the bumps are in the road and know where they're at and know how your car's gonna be able to handle it, to know which line to take. What is wrong with the AI today? That one just was plowed into a tree. This was gonna be just like a build and like canyon carving, back road smashing type video, but it's starting to kind of turn into how many times will the Forza AI glitch or bug out and do just weird stuff in one video. It feels so awesome on the wheel when you're driving one of these rear engine, rear wheel drive Porsches, and that rear end kicks out just a little bit on you and you just control it just perfectly right through a corner. It just, such an amazing feeling. It's a lot of what makes these cars so fun to drive for a lot of people. This thing is just mobbing through this road. And honestly, I could probably take a lot of it a lot faster, but I'm trying to be cautious of traffic and just kind of really drive properly, well, as properly as you can, blasting at 200 and some miles an hour on open roads. I really like just cruising around through Edinburgh too. There's just so many sights to see around here and just different roads to take and try to find all the little hidden stuff that Playground Games has put in throughout the city. These roads are a lot of fun to try to take like a really fast hypercar through and just try to blast through traffic as fast as you can without getting into any accidents. This right here can be a pretty nasty section of road too. It's got a lot of really, really gnarly crest on it that in any hypercars are just insane to take at really high speed. As I'm saying that, I just like was not paying attention to where I was going at all and blasted straight off the road. At least it was a nice, safe, soft landing over here in the grass and I didn't go right into a tree or something. Alright, so instead of a race, I wanted to come over here and just take this thing on one of my favorite back roads to do some drifting or just kind of really test a car's handling out and my focus, because there's usually a fairly good amount of traffic on this road. I did go ahead and jump in and tune the car up as far as changing tire pressure, final drive ratio around a little bit. It did play with like the alignment some. I didn't change a lot in the way this thing's set up though, because it does feel pretty good. It was just a little loose and a little less grippy than I would like for what I was building this for. So as you can kind of see, like I was saying, this road really has a lot of traffic placed in really awkward spots a lot of times too, so it challenges you to find a line you can make it through and carry speed with if you're really trying to just smash through there. Ooh. Managed to bring it back in there, just barely though. Thought I had it going into that second corner when it slid out just a little bit on me again and snapped back faster than I was ready for. Wash my car off there real quick, get all the dirt from all of this back road just blasting I've been doing. There's a lot of blind sections on this section of road too. You're either coming around corners that are on like a decline where you can't see cars coming up the hill towards you, or you come over crests that are just completely blind and you kind of just gotta hope there's not gonna be a car where you're going. or be able to react fast enough to be able to get out of the way without unsettling the car. I didn't really have a lot of options there on what to do. Is lose speed or smash into the car. He was in just a spot where I had nowhere to go. This car is definitely a lot of fun to drive. It's got a really nice balance to it and handles really well, but you do not drive it right, and it's definitely only going to take one small mistake for you to just go flying off into the trees or through a fence. Really doesn't feel like there's 700 horsepower though. It has so much grip. Like, you can really just kind of flat out this thing a lot of times, and you think you should start spinning tires, and it just never does. Alright guys, well, that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys like this style of video where I just kind of take a car out, build it up, and just kind of smash through these back roads here in the UK with it and have some fun, play around. Kind of test my driving out and my reactions, especially here in the traffic. If you did enjoy today's video though guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.